Christopher Nolan's Interstellar is a science fiction epic that operates at the intersection of hard science and human emotion. While it presents itself as a story about space exploration and survival, the film's true subject is love as a transcendent force, capable of bridging time, space, and even dimensions. Unlike traditional science fiction films that prioritize spectacle or technological awe, Interstellar grounds its cosmic ambitions in deeply personal stakes, especially the bond between the father and her daughter. Interstellar uses scientific realism, non-linear time, and audiovisual immersion to explore the tension between human logic and emotional faith, ultimately proposing that love is as fundamental to the universe as gravity. At its core, Interstellar is structured around relativistic time. Time is not simply a narrative device but a thematic weapon in this film. Nolan fractures time through relativistic planet, parallel timelines, and a tesseract, where time becomes physical and navigable. The most devastating example is Miller's planet, where 1 hour equals 7 years on Earth. This sequence transforms a scientific concept into an emotional gut punch. Cooper leaves Earth believing he will return before his children age significantly, but time betrays him. When Cooper later watches decades of video messages in minutes, Nolan collapses time to force the audience to experience grief the same way Cooper does. Time in Interstellar is therefore not neutral, it is cruel, selective, and emotionally violent. Cooper represents human rationality and exploration. A man born too late to explore Earth and too early to explore the stars. Murph represents emotional intelligence and intuition, often dismissed by adults, yet ultimately responsible for humanity's survival. The relationship forms the emotional backbone of the film. Cooper's decision to leave Earth is framed as logical and necessary, yet emotionally catastrophic. Murph experiences this departure not as a sacrifice but as an abandonment. This tension mirrors the film's larger conflict, logic versus emotion. Murph ultimately solves the gravitational equation not through cold calculation alone, but by embracing the idea that her father is communicating with her through love across time. In doing so, the film reframes emotional connection not as weakness but as a form of intelligence. Love as a scientific force. One of Interstellar's most controversial ideas is articulated by Brand, who suggests that love may be a force that transcends dimension. While this concept initially appears naive or unscientific, the film later validates it. Inside the Tesseract, Cooper realizes that he was the ghost Murph sensed as a child. Love becomes the guiding principle that allows Cooper to navigate infinite moments. Love becomes a navigational constant, just as gravity is a physical one. Nolan does not argue that love replaces science, but the science without emotional purpose is incomplete. Cinematography and visual language. Hoyte and Hoytema's cinematography emphasizes scale and isolation. Wide shot dwarf human figures, endless space, reinforcing humanity's fragility. The docking sequence is a masterclass in visual storytelling. The rotating spacecraft, lack of sound in space, and precise framing conveys chaos without confusion. Nolan's insistence on practical effect enhances this realism, making space feel dangerous rather than romanticized. The film's color palette shifts from dusty brown on Earth to sterile whites and deep blacks in space, symbolizing humanity's transition from decay to uncertainty. Sound design and score. Hans Zimmer's organ based score is integral to the film's emotional power. The organ, traditionally associated with churches, reinforces the film's spiritual undertones. Time itself becomes audible through ticking motifs, particularly during high stakes sequences. Silence is used strategically, especially during space travel, to emphasize isolation and realism. When sound does return, it feels monumental, almost overwhelming, mirroring the character's emotional states. The ending and its meaning. The film's ending is deliberately bittersweet. Cooper unites with Murph only briefly. The love saves humanity, yet they cannot reclaim the lost time. This enforces the film's central tragedy. Progress demands sacrifice. Interstellar is not merely a science fiction film, it is a meditation on what makes humanity worth saving. Nolan creates a film that asks not whether humanity can survive, but whether it deserves to. Ultimately, Interstellar suggests that the most powerful force in the universe is not gravity, time, or space, but human connection, enduring even when everything falls apart.